I'd like to remind you to turn your cell phones back on at the end of the evening. Chris Kaiser, the president of the Writers Guild of America West, very much wanted to be here this evening. He unfortunately found himself not able to attend. I'm standing in for him. I'm Howard Rodman. I'm the vice president of the Writers Guild of America West. And I'm here representing Chris and representing the writers of the Writers Guild. And I'd like to, on behalf of all of the above, welcome you to TV 101, the 101 Best Written Television Series. Yeah. Let's start by talking about meaning. Television. Seeing at a distance. Television. Seeing something that's too far away to be seen. Seeing something that's unseeable. And perhaps that's why so many people saw television in so many different ways. For FCC Commissioner Newton Minow, television was a vast wasteland. For Harlan Ellison, it was a glass teat. For many others, it was an idiot box. And for still others, television was something that had a golden age. Cable could mean Tony Soprano. It could mean Skippy Lowe. But I think now there's close to unanimity on some very basic things. For instance, we are now in the midst of a second golden age. For instance, if you were to ask 10 A-list feature writers what they were working on, to a man and to a woman, they would say, a pilot. The best writing for screens of any size is now being done for television. And we get to see it at its best and most unadulterated form because television is a writer's medium. And it wouldn't be a stretch to say that much of the best writing being done anywhere for any medium, stage, screen, books, is done by the women and men in this room. Television means bringing something far away, very close as your living room, as close as we are tonight. So I want to thank you for being here, and I want to particularly thank the people who will be on our panel for giving up their time to be with us this evening. Right, hold your applause. We've got a lot of people to thank, so here's what you need to know. In 2012, the membership of the WGA West and WGA East cast their votes. Every English language series with writing credits since the early days of television was eligible. And according to the complete directory to primetime network and cable TV shows, 1946 to present, there are more than 7,000 shows that were eligible. So it's quite an achievement to have made the list. WGA members have anointed the creators of a diverse mix of shows about outlaws, gangsters, convicts, meth dealers, serial killers, in a word, writers. But we also recognize greatness wherever we see it, in lawyers and lawmen, soldiers and secret agents, bad cops and good wives, poor high schoolers, rich English aristocrats, and even TV shows about TV shows. The person who wrote that sentence was writing about writing. Before we reveal the list and discuss it with a panel of very special guests and creators, there are some people I'd like to thank. Again, please hold your applause. Neil Sakharov and Greg Mitchell of the Writers Guild Communications Department, who worked very, very hard to make this event possible. If you think wrangling writers is hard, try wrangling writers for a show like this. I'd like to thank Diane Driscoll and Margaret Howell for producing the clip packages you'll see tonight. Ken Pisani, who helped to direct and script the evening and made me say this. All three serve on the Writers Guild Publicity and Marketing Committee, whose members worked tirelessly on this and many projects to increase the awareness of the contributions of writers to our membership and to the world at large. And a special thank you, Aaron Mendelson. Where are you, Aaron? Thank you, Aaron. Hold it. Chair of the committee and creator of the 101 Best Written TV Shows, and creator of this project, and of the 101 Best Screenplay project that preceded it. I'd also like to thank the Directors Guild of America for granting us clip clearances promptly and cheerfully, and to acknowledge the contribution of directors in bringing these shows to life, and actors too. Last but certainly not least, our print partner and co-sponsor of the evening, TV Guide magazine. Thank you for making this event possible and for 60 years of tireless television reporting. It says here, hold for applause.
No Pink Lady and Jeff up there. But hi, everyone. I'm Mike Schneider. I am the Los Angeles bureau chief of TV Guide magazine. Hold for applause. So, as you heard, TV Guide magazine turns 60 this year. And yes, a lot has changed in the TV business since then. Hell, a lot has just changed just in the past 8 or so years. Just flipping through old magazines, I could guarantee you no talk of digital platforms, of cable original programming or streaming, or even cable kicking broadcasts, but we're in those early days of TV Guide. But a lot has changed now, and even as the industry goes through the biggest upheaval since Fred Silverman canceled Hee Haw, one thing remains clear. Yeah, hold for chuckles. A little history lesson for you kids. Look it up, Wikipedia. One thing remains clear. It's all about great writing, great characters, and great stories. So my 8-year-old at home has no idea what NBC, ABC, or CBS are, but he knows what his favorite TV show is. And right now that's SpongeBob. But one day it will be something a little even bigger. So the WGA, they like to call you America's storytellers, and that's pretty damn accurate. And this list that you're about to see, that it's about to be unveiled, represents the best of the best. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to narrow down the 101, but I've seen a sneak peek, and although Pink Lady and Jeff is not on there, Super Train neither, sorry, it's pretty fantastic. It's a pretty amazing list of the best of television over the past 70 or so years. So I'm excited for you guys to see it. It kind of reminds me that it is like everything in life that I learned by watching TV and by watching some of the shows that you, America's storytellers, have actually created through the years. From Stephen Bochco, for example, who's here tonight. I know, first off, and this is a true story, every time an elevator door opens, I look before I go inside. I hope you guys do too. And also, I think you can all agree, we still know a little more about Dennis Franz's ass than I think we all ever wanted to know, but that's great. Sean Ryan, who's also here tonight. Whenever I'm pulled over by the LAPD, I just play nice. It's all good. We're good, right? We're good. David Shore, who I believe is here tonight as well. I think of you whenever I'm in the emergency room complaining about some ailment that I know is killing me, but so far they haven't found. From Damon and Carlton, who I'm sure are on the list, we'll see tonight. I know whenever I'm on an airplane, I look around, I sort of check, okay, who's Jack, who's Hurley, and who's the guy who's going to be eaten by the smoke monster 30 minutes after we crash. Usually, unfortunately, that person's me. But and Vince Gilligan, who is also here tonight. Vince, I saved the best for last because thanks to you, I know how to manufacture and mass distribute the perfect, the purest meth in the world. And I think we can all thank Vince for that. Oh, and I should add Matt Weiner's here too, and because of you, I now drink on the job every day. So I thank you for that. So seriously, I got a sneak peek at the list. As I said, it's astounding. It's a reminder of the quality and the breadth of television's best, spanning more than 6 decades. And it's fitting that we're doing this on a Sunday night because it's become one of the most crowded nights in television. My DVR weeps every Sunday just to try to record everything that's great. Tonight, for example, we've got must-see episodes of Game of Thrones. We got must-see episodes of Mad Men. And, of course, The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Don't lie. Come on. I know you guys are DVRing it. So let's do us all a favor. Keep the Twitter off. Keep the cell phones off so you don't spoil yourself or others because we got to go home tonight and all watch together as a group. So anyway, thanks a lot for coming and thanks for supporting us. TV Guide, 60 years. We'll be around for another 60. I don't know what we'll be covering in 60 years when there is no actual screen, when it's actually telepathically beamed into us, but we'll still be writing about television. So now I'd like to introduce tonight's moderator. She's contributed material to several shows that are on tonight's list, including Moonlighting, including Sex and the City, the title of which I can't even say because this is a family audience. And she's won 4 Emmys, 3 of them as head writer for Late Night with David Letterman. She also won a WGA award in 1990 for a show that to me is still sort of unsung, not necessarily the news, which I still was one of my favorites growing up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Merrill Markoe.
Thank you, Michael. Here I am with even more opening remarks. So, I'm honored to be here in a room full of writers for a lot of reasons. It's sort of exciting for me because writers, I think, we all share sort of a unique way of seeing things. By way of example, I wanted to share with you what I did on my birthday last year, which was I invited a bunch of friends of mine to a really pretty restaurant in Brentwood, and we were out on a deck, and it was woodsy, and there were candles, and we were having champagne. And this friend of mine cornered me and started pontificating. She, also a writer. And I remember her words exactly. She said to me, "I think you can look at life as either a sitcom or a soap opera." And then after she said that, she leaned back into a candle, and her hair caught on fire. So I helped her put her hair out, of course, but I have to admit the first thing I thought after that was, wow, perfect. And also, she was wrong. Apparently, it's a nice combination of both. A little bit about me before I move on here. I was the daughter of a mother who herself wanted to be a writer, and she was kind of ambivalent, I think, about me becoming a writer. She was not always the most supportive person, but I do remember exactly what she said the first time I showed her a script I'd written. She took it into another room, and I was peering at her, and she was looking deadpan, and she was reading, and finally she looked up, and I said, "Well?" And she said, "I don't happen to care for it, but I pray I'm wrong." So at least I was in her prayers, was my thought. Anyway, I'm honored to be here today to present the list selected by Writers Guild members of the 101 best written TV shows and to moderate a series of panels with some of the creators of these shows. And by the way, God bless the Writers Guild for even thinking about creating a list called the 101 best written TV shows. Speaking as a lover of words, I'm not too excited about how impatient people have gotten with writing these days. They not only put numerical limits on the amount of letters you can use, but everyone is very busy removing vowels and just adding emoticons. That's among the reasons why I'm grateful the Writers Guild still does its best to love and honor actual writers as much as any organization created by angst-ridden, perfectionistic people awash in self-doubt possibly can. We writers work long hours trying to make a contribution, only to wind up being the ones standing in the corners at the wrap parties. No match for the flashier performers and producers in the center of the room, all dolled up in their bigger, gaudier, more brightly colored personality disorders. It's very nice to be honored by our fellow writers. It's not as though we don't have our own neurotic needs for adoration. We didn't really mean to be echo to someone else's Narcissus. In fact, not many of us even knew what that meant until after we'd been doing rewrites for a few years. So tonight we honor the people who created shows that more often than not were able to break through the cliches and formulas that preceded them, even as they fought for their very existence against mobs of hate-filled, torch-bearing villagers from focus groups. Yet the fight proved to be worth it. Most of these people now have so many Emmys that when they are nominated again, the excitement is quickly undercut by a whiny but heated debate about how little closet and shelf space they have left. So on to the list. We're going to reveal the names of the shows in groups of 20 at a time, slowly, because, well, everyone likes suspense, but also because a lot of people tune out after they see their own name, and we want to make sure some people are paying attention all the way through the show. Interspersed will be panel discussions, and we begin starting with slide number 101.